Right, could I welcome you all to the meeting? Sorry we're just a little bit late in starting. Now, could I say it, first of all, that at some point during the meeting, there will probably be, hopefully, outbursts of applause and cheering and things like that because of something happening at the other end of the city, not something that you can often hear me say. But however, out of respect to the speakers, try and pretend that it's something they've said that's got you enthusiastic, right? Rather so that you think you're actually paying attention. But I think it's actually useful that at the top table, as speakers, we have got somebody from the Labour Party, somebody from the SNP, and somebody from the unions, and it demonstrates the breadth that we're trying to build for a campaign like ours. I mean, originally it had been all about moving forward after the result of the referendum to campaign for progressive solutions, as the slogan says, for Scotland and Europe. But of course, I think we've also now got to be aware that there are those who are campaigning simply to... Oh, yes. Thank you very much. Thank you. That was a very good point I made there. Okay. Yes. Obviously, we've got the results. So I, Stephen, said taking that John has, that Richard has won.
Yes.
What's the
percentage? Richard wins 56, 44. Well, there we are then. It came in my contribution, so the speakers didn't need to worry about that then. So that's, well, interestingly, of course, that the candidate who one of his main planks was the retention of British membership in the single market and the customs union has lost. And I think that is pretty significant in terms of the Labour Party moving forward. But what I was saying earlier on was that, before I was rudely interrupted by an election result, was that, I mean, we want to be campaigning not just simply about what sort of Brexit, but to make sure that the Brexit vote is honoured. So I think it's quite clear that, as with other referendums within the EU, there are those, not only in the Commission, but also in this country, that want to actually overturn the result of the referendum and see the problem as being essentially that the people themselves were too stupid to vote the right way, and that basically those of us that voted to leave have obviously lost the confidence of the BBC and of Channel 4 and the metropolitan elite, who seem unable to accept that a decision that's been made could actually be the one with which they disagree. And I think we should be under no illusions that they are trying as hard as they can to overturn the result. And I have to admit that I got a couple of things wrong about the referendum. One of them was that I didn't anticipate that the EU would be so strongly driven by a desire to punish the UK for the temerity of voting to leave. I mean, I to some extent had believed the propaganda that we were getting about, that it was an alliance of friends and neighbours and colleagues and that we were working together. And the reason for leaving was basically that we chose just a different route, but we would remain still friends. And I think it's pretty clear that the vast majority of the EU leadership, certainly the Commission and its colleagues, have taken the view that they want to punish the UK for our decision and want to try and place us in a position where the deal on offer is so appalling that we will end up changing our mind. And I think we've got to be, conscious of that. And I think I'd failed to comprehend that the Tories would be such useless negotiators. I mean, I think that for all that the EU are not being helpful in any way, the Tories have undoubtedly made a bit of a pig's ear of the whole negotiation process, which does actually make our task even more necessary, but also more difficult in many ways. Because there's a danger that things become polarised, so that if you're in favour of leaving, you end up being forced in a position that you're supporting the Tories' analysis of leave, rather than the analysis of leave and what we would want to see, from our perspective.